we're going to start with our last panels, and I'm really happy and glad to see only female panel here. I think this is really worth a big applause to start. Welcome on stage. And Caprice Crawford, talent agent, founder of Crawford Talents, USA and Germany, will host this panel. Enjoy.
Yeah, thank you for the introduction. I'm happy that I don't have to introduce myself. So I'm based in Berlin. I have an agency. Some of the people in my panel became my friends while I was doing my job, while I'm still doing my job. And so let me start. Hold on. I'm totally nervous, but that's okay, you know? So what are we talking about? Casting, film, productions, and everything. Is that right? Here to the right, I have, to my left, I have Karimah El. How do I pronounce your last name? I never knew that. I work with her a lot. She emails me a lot. Tell me your last name.
El Giamal.
El Giamal. And Karimah has a film here in competition. What's the name of the film in competition?
It's Sound of Falling by Moshe Shelinsky, and it was shown on the first day.
First day, and it had very, Karimah. Tell me a little bit about the work you've done. I mean, you casted many. A lot of people know her. I mean, this is international. Okay. People are following you.
So, do I have to introduce myself now? Is it like everybody is?
Everybody will introduce it.
Yeah, no, well, the shortcut, I'm Karimah, I'm from Germany, I'm half Libyan, half German, and I'm doing the casting job like 15 years now. And it's my second time in Cannes, and so this time I have a movie in competition, and it's really, really amazing. I'm really happy to be here.
Yeah, because I met you the first time in Cannes, or last year was that?
Yeah.
And you didn't have a movie here. And all of a sudden you have a movie here. So that's great. See, dreams can come true, is that right? And then, right from you, we have Jo Monteiro from Portugal. Yes? Yeah. She's a caster and a director as well. Introduction, tell us a little bit about you.
Okay, so I'm based in Portugal. I work on international TV series and feature films. I studied film studies, for those who have any interest in that. I recently directed and produced a short film and directed a TV film.
And your TV film recently was on a network, isn't that right?
It was broadcasted on Portuguese in a public channel, yes.
And did you also cast it, that film, or did you have somebody else work on that?
I did, but the producer didn't want to label me as casting director, so I'm only the director.
But in general, you did cast it?
Yes, I did.
Oh, good. Oh my gosh, why not? Is that right?
Apparently, it's not good to have two habits.
Okay, well, I don't see the point. Michelle Danner from Los Angeles, is that correct?
Yes, I'm from Los Angeles. I am an acting coach and I'm a film director. And I had a movie this morning, not in competition, called Under the Stars. It's a movie that I shot last year in Puglia, in Italy, with Toni Collette and Eddie Garcia and Alex Pettifer and Ivedi Domenici. And I've been making movies. I've been lucky to make movies for the last 20-something years.
So have you been long a teacher or a movie maker? Same?
Both.
Both.
I continue to teach.
Okay.
I have 2 schools in Los Angeles and I teach internationally. And I make movies both in LA and internationally.
So people in the audience, sometimes they ask me where to go in LA, so they should you're still doing that?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
We have a Los Angeles Acting Conservatory, the Michelle Danner Acting Studio.
That's nice. Okay, Nancy Bishop. Hi. A lot of people know Nancy, but go ahead, Nancy. She likes her.
Hi, I'm Nancy. I have an office in London. I am a casting director, and right now I'm working mostly on independent films. I've worked with Michelle on the film she mentioned and another one, and now we're developing some others, so that's what I'm doing mostly now, but I've done a bit of everything. I've done studio films, I've done television, I've just about everything.
But Nancy, you as a caster or also as a producer?
Well, mostly as a casting director, but I am doing some producing too.
And that's okay, is that right?
I hope so, yeah. I don't think I could get arrested for it.
So how do you and Michelle found each other?
I don't know. She called me once.
The last movie you worked on
me.
was Miranda Victim. is that
Miranda's Victim and the one she just mentioned, Under the Stars.
Okay.
And we're developing
And the
some
next
other ones. We're developing several more actually.
right? That's good to know.
And almost everything I do is entirely international. So sometimes it's shooting in America, sometimes it's shooting here, sometimes it's with America, sometimes it's with European talent. So everything's international for me at this point.
Nice. And Lucy, what about you? We kind of know you.
I'm just here for the fun.
No, everybody knows Lucy does casting, and she also runs the Actors Home.
I'm from Ireland. I'm based in Barcelona. I've been a casting director for a very, very long time. I still think I'm 18, and then I count up the 25 years I've been doing this. I love my job. I love all the people on this panel, except for Michelle, who I don't know so well.
But you will love her.
But I will love her if she remembers to say that Nancy cast her films when she talks about them. And I'm very happy to be here at AfroCannes. I am very attached to the film industry from the storytelling point of view, and I'm very interested in working on projects that have interesting narratives. And I believe that our industry has an important role to play by telling the story of the other and not just the same old boring story over and over again. So I think Prudence's initiative here is extremely important.
That's right. That we touch. I mean, we are at AfroCannes. How is it with you all? Everybody's casting. You know, does the script come from Africa, for instance? Does it come across your board a lot or ever? No. Never.
Sometimes.
You sometimes.
I've shot I worked on a film that was shot in Equatorial New Guinea. It was the first film shot there ever, which I was very proud to. I did an incredible film with the African immigrant population in Spain. I've done two of those films. One which was called Balthasar, which was shot by an Australian director, about the stories in Spain where we have the Three Kings parades on the 6th of January. And Balthasar is a black king, and it was talking about the person who was the story of an African immigrant being a black king in a Spanish world. And that film won, the best prizes all over the world. Oh, well, in Australia, which is where it's from.
It was shooting in Australia.
No, it was shot in Spain.
In Spain.
And I cast it in Spain with Senegal actors.
And was it hard? I mean, these days it's hard to get that talent across, or how does that work? Like, I have an actor in Malawi, and he's
No, we cast the ones that were. The problem was that I cast an actor who I know extremely well to play the lead, and he was incredible. But I've known him for 30 years. He works in theatre, and then we had to go out to the Senegalese population in Spain. There was no budget to travel people.
Exactly.
And we had to workshop, because one of the problems, and this is a problem that we get with a lot with producers, and I was talking about it here yesterday in AfroCannes, is that then they say, oh, these people don't have any credits. People, or they don't have experience, and then you just say, well, you have to coach them. You just have to have more time in rehearsals.
Okay.
And the same with casting. I think that in casting, when I cast a lot of people from outside the mainstream, and that could be anything. They just need more time. They haven't done 500 self-tapes. They haven't done a lot of in-person castings. So you take your time, you explain, you try to communicate better.
So how much power does a casting director has with the development of a film, for instance? It's getting developed, you go to how much power? I mean, it sounds like a little power that you are having in a way of saying, just develop them, take more time, and rehearse more. Not everybody takes the time to do so. You got to get a script for a TV show, and they don't have a lot of time. No time at all. I find it very hard when you do a TV show. You've done television series, isn't that right? What do you prefer, TV series or film?
It depends on the network.
The project.
And actually, the best situation you can have is doing a low-budget movie, so you can really cast who you want and who is best for the role. And if you have no money, you might have more time because you know that things take time. And then you have the better cast, I guess. But in TV, it's actually it's getting less time every time.
Less time every time because people have less turnaround with their tapes. And everything.
Words. Yeah, well, I don't like self-taping anyway so much, so I prefer online Zoom castings like readings.
Before the self-tape?
Before the live casting. If we do live castings, it's really expensive. Because we have to travel in so many actors, because it's in Germany, everybody lives somewhere, but not everybody lives in the city we cast. So I prefer working with the actors online and get in touch, and then see how I can invite them to.
Oh, really? So this is how you do it? I mean, everybody has a different process. I mean, I'm so happy that we do have self-tapes, because, I mean, we've reached so many more people through that, especially during COVID time, but this is over right now. We've reached so many more people, and I mean, we all love people. It's always different, isn't it right? As you as a casting director.
Yeah, in fact, as Karimah said, the bigger the budget, the lower the freedom. So it's not a matter of power, it's more a matter of influence. And kindly and slowly trying to take the person where you want to go. Right? We can't fight. It's better to go really slowly. Recently I had an example, I'm attached to an NDA, but I realized that both producers and broadcasters, despite their decades of experience, don't know what an actor is. They don't know. So you have to kindly show them examples, and they get there. It's the same with when I was assistant director with directors. You don't say it's this or this. You show a way, and it will go exactly where you want it to go, without feeling that you were the one telling him where to go. I think casting or the film industry. What is a film? What is a film? If you observe a film in its most substantial structure, what is a film? It's a story, as Luci said. It's a camera with sound and an actor. Those are the three crucial elements for the existence of a film.
And an agent.
And an agent, yes. Those are. So I don't want to say that you don't need an editor or an editor or whatever, but if you have those three elements, guaranteed you have a film. So it's very important that people try to respect and understand the needs of an actor, because an actor needs attention, he needs protection, he needs guidance. That's it.
I find like casting process has changed right now ever since I've been an agent right now, not as long, but still I find that it has changed a lot. And also I feel like casting directors already now say how much the actors are getting paid. You know, before
I wish I could say that.
No, but some of them they say we can only pay the minimum. Is the actor willing to do?
That's not us. That's coming from production. We're just the messenger.
Yeah, you are the messenger. You are giving the message. So for us outsiders, like the casting directors are saying that. Yeah, okay, Luci.
But the reason that we do that, and we can't do that now when we're only paying a minimum, is we have so little time.
Yeah.
We don't have time to see 10 people who then can't do it because we're only paying the minimum. But we are still, our industry is still very secretive about what we pay and when we pay it. And, you know, and that's just the way it is, no?
I mean, it also has something to do because we don't have a union here in Germany, really. Europe. We don't really have a union like SAG, like Screen Actors Guild, where it's a little bit different.
We have a union in Spain.
Yeah, but we don't
But
really
it's the
have that in
minimums.
Germany.
It's the same as it's minimums.
Tell us about the union in Germany. How is that working? Yeah.
No, well, actually, there is a union, but they are not that powerful.
Yeah, they're not as powerful when it comes to SAG and Screen Actors.
Well, you never talk to the union as a production, I guess. They have the Verdi thing.
Yeah, the Verdi
It's a
thing,
minimum rate, a day rate, of course. And I experience in TV a lot that they have like gedeckt, I don't know what it is, that they have a certain amount which you can. Yeah, it's not minimum. It's the
Beyond the minimum.
no, that's not what I mean. I mean it's gedeckte Gage. No?
Oh, you can say minimum. This is this is a
Okay.
minimum. They can pay
Okay. Now I get it. I thought it was the minimum day rate in general.
Done.
The
The minimum,
minimum.
that's all they can pay.
Okay. Yeah, I have to do that a lot in like TV.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Or
Yeah.
Sondergage.
Yeah, like Tatort or
Exactly, TV series.
TV
all that
series,
stuff. Yeah.
because they just don't get the higher budgets, even though the stories are told very differently. So, and of course, that's one of our main tasks in advance to see how can we manage that.
And you know, you get actors with different names, powerful actors with rolling, and you know actors that wouldn't do it for this fee.
Depends on the story.
Depends on the story, still, you know. It's like strapping, like killing them, saying, okay, you either do it or you don't for that fee.
Yeah, that's terrible.
I know. But let's be positive. Let's talk about positive things.
No, I don't know how to manage that.
There it is. There it is. Yeah. And when it comes to, I want to talk about Nancy again. Her 3 books she wrote. 3 books she wrote. Tell me about the 3 books you wrote and why you wrote them.
Well, I started writing books because I noticed that the first thing I noticed when I went into film, because I came from theater, is that there were a lot of really good actors that I had seen on stage the night before. But when they got into the casting, they were flat. Like, they weren't good anymore. And I realized that there was, at that time, I think it's getting better, but there was a lack of education, especially about auditioning and how to present yourself. And I had to learn it too, because I came from theater and then I was kind of thrown into a film, and that's another story. But so I had to learn it with the actors. So that's why I started writing books. And I would say that I would recommend just to read the last one, the most recent one, which is called, what is it called?
How to audition?
Audition.
How to audition?
No, it's called Auditioning for Film and TV in a
Exactly.
post Me Too era. So it's the most up to date one. So I would recommend not reading the first 2 just because these things date, you know, that's it.
No, really. I suggest your book a lot, and
Oh,
people
thank you.
tell me, God, I wish I knew firsthand about this, what you were
Okay,
writing there. So,
cool.
everybody, get the book.
Thank you.
Yeah, you have it here with
Little
you?
plug, Joe.
No, you don't have it.
Bring it in, sorry.
And when you and Michelle started working together, I mean, the eye of a director, the eye of a casting, were you guys eye to eye, or did Nancy suggest to somebody? Did you already know who you wanted in your Miranda's victim, for instance? Who's playing your Miranda victims?
Well,
Do you want to answer that? Well, you haven't said anything yet, so I'll let you talk.
I mean, I value very much Nancy's input.
Yeah.
And, you know, Nancy lives in London. I live in Los Angeles. So around midnight, my WhatsApp starts to ring. We start to talk at midnight. And sometimes I fall asleep and I stay up. And I'm looking at my WhatsApp. I cast in the middle of the night. And sometimes I go to the bathroom and I'm like, I'm not going to look at my phone because either an actor passed or mostly an actor passed. And that's going to depress me, and then I'm going to go to sleep and have nightmares.
Yeah, you see how this is? Directors get no's too. You see this, actors? Everybody gets no's in this business. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, definitely. Lots of no's. And sometimes you invest. I mean, we just recently went down with one actor who said he liked it, he wanted to do it, and then it went back and forth with the money. It wasn't enough money, and then it was a pass, and you know, and you get disappointed and your heart breaks for a little bit, and then you recover because you have to look at it in a philosophical way, and you have to say it's not meant to be for that actor to play that part, and you have to trust that something better happens. For instance, in Miranda's Victim, I did a Zoom with a very well-known actor, a star, for an hour.
What's his name? Just kidding.
We forgot already.
We didn't particularly hit it off. And I have a good ratio, like 99% of actors, you know, it would work. But it didn't work with that one. But then somebody else came along was Luke Wilson, and he was perfect for the part, and he was actually better for the part. So I just have to remind myself, if it's a no, it's okay. It's no in that moment. But I just want to back up in terms of the casting process and talk about self-tapes. And I really like self-tapes for myself. But what I've learned is that if it's possible to get an actor in a room, it's better, because I have cast off of self-tapes. And of course they tell you how tall they are and everything. And then somebody comes on set and you go, oh shit, I wish that we had done this in person at one point. But sometimes it's impossible because you can't fly somebody in to audition. You know, you just have to go with your gut. But I listen very much to Nancy and her recommendations. She has great taste, and Nancy comes from the theater. So whenever I speak to her, she's constantly going to see a play in London. So I have to live vicariously through her. And I love the theater as well. I go to New York all the time and watch tons of Broadway shows. And I think you can find great actors that do stage.
But that's good to know. It's about also the no's, you know, as my actors are also in the audience, and we do get a lot of no's, but we also get a lot of yes, so it's okay to be a no. So everybody gets a no sometimes. Isn't that right?
Yes, it's not no to you. It's just no in that particular
I'd
part,
say it
but it's
wasn't
not
the right time,
personal.
the right
It's
season.
not personal. Yeah.
Okay, but it can change sometimes. You know, the actor's not available. What about the availability? Remember the availability? You hire somebody, and all of a sudden, everything is there. The production doesn't show up with the contract soon enough. Of course, the actor's going to go somewhere else, and then he's not available anymore. Is that right? That happened to you before?
Yes,
Yeah.
recently.
Recently.
It was an express casting, international one, and the director adored an actor. He did. And Monday, he decided on Monday morning, we said, okay, it's him. And he said, I'm not available anymore.
Not anymore.
You did your self-tape on Saturday.
Yeah, so the process is everything really fast. Yeah, for everybody. Is that right? What about you, say, Lucy? I mean, we're going to turn this to a Q&A. People can ask questions. All right? Are you guys open for that?
One thing that is good on self-tape, studio live auditions, there's always the input of the casting director somehow. He always very subtly tries to guide you in a direction that is his own perspective, but it's not maybe the perspective of the director. So the self-tape has this genuine thing from you. It's good we share tips, technical tips, to help you feel comfortable with the camera, with shots, with perspective, but it's you in the self-tape. Maybe it's not you in the studio. That's what I recently noticed.
Well, it is a lot. So So we are open for questions if anybody has some questions.
I should switch it on. So, if you have a question, maybe you can introduce yourself and stand up and say where you're from. You can stand up so that everybody can see you. Not a problem. So I keep the microphone. I don't give it away.
Hi, how you guys doing? My name is Lisa Miranda. I'm based in Paris, and my question is, since you all work in different countries, how do you find the actors that you work with, or how do you like actors to communicate with you or stay on your radar, especially if they're in different places or traveling often or in the States, etc.?
Thank you.
Hi, Lisa. I always say I can only really answer for me because every casting office has its own way. But the first thing I would say, and this question we get asked a lot, is to really remember that you're not a job applicant. You don't have to apply for a job. We're constantly looking for actors. So you just have to be findable and be on the radar with your work. So it's not like I don't cast just by people who've sent me a message on Instagram or Facebook, which I hate, or have written to me or have, sat outside my office all night to catch me before I get in the morning. When I have a role, I'm looking. for actors. And the way to get onto the radar of a casting director is every single way under the sun. There's so many different ways. I'm going to write a book, which won't be as interesting as Nancy's book, but it'll be every way that I have met an actor that I've cast. I have met people because my mother met their mother at the bus stop, and they told them that my son's an actor, and then my mum says, my friends who I met at the bus stop. I've met people in workshops. I've met people at panels. I've met people at festivals. I've met people because I've been to see them in the theatre. I've met people because I've watched them in short films. I've met people because I went to school with them. Like, for every single actor that I have cast or put forward for casting, there's a different story about how our relationship began. But the principle in the industry is being visible. And that is like being on the casting platform. It's like, today I want to kill an actress who's not here, but she's quite high profile, and I wanted to put her forward for roles, so I'm going to just send her IMDb link. And then I go onto IMDb and she doesn't have a photograph. So I cannot send that to an American producer because he will think she's a nobody because she doesn't represent herself well digitally. And I'm calling her, and she has one of the top agents as well in Spain, not Caprice, who would never, ever let one of her clients get away with that.
Well, I'm happy she said that.
But it's be findable, work with your agent, be findable, be visible, and then make sure that when somebody is looking for you, that they will find you. It's a bit like having your CEO on Google very high in terms of marketing. And then you establish long-term relationships. When you've met somebody, when somebody's cast you, like, work with that person, thank your agents, thank the casting directors who've seen you for stuff, so you stay on their radar, and thank the directors who've worked with you. So you build, your network should always be getting bigger, and your name should always be being spoken about in rooms that your feet have not yet been into. And so part of that is coming to festivals, but it's not running around with your business card at a festival. It's just being part of the collective of storytellers that we are. And I don't know if anybody else wants
No,
to
I
do
would
it
say
another
be
way.
visible on our platforms that are available to you. Be very visible with all your information, your self-tapes. I mean, not your self-tapes, but your showreels. And your showreels should be always downloadable for everybody to share them with.
And a really good bio
Yeah.
that says it, because we don't always watch a showreel. And make sure your headshot actually looks like
Yeah,
you.
that's true.
I can't give a better answer than that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's that.
Did that answer your question? Okay.
I
Thank
could
you.
say one thing. I think that to try and keep in touch with, the people the community of directors and casting directors, and if you see that they're specifically casting a project, I don't think it hurts to send them an email. I know, for instance, just now I'm about to go shoot a movie in LA, and this actress sent me an email and she said, if there's something that's right for me, remember me. And sure enough, I'm actually going to cast her. But I don't know that if she would have sent that email, if I would have remembered.
So yeah, an email. I always say to my clients, an emailer every 6 months is nice. Not, you don't want to do it every day. But the email, you're cast in Germany. Everybody works a little different in America and Germany. What do you think? If you get tons of emails.
Yes, I think it's really important to send emails. I would say not just twice a year, like 3 times a year, 4 times a year. Just keep it brief with a link to your profile, a headshot, so I can connect your picture to your name. That's important. You won't get an answer, I guess, but that doesn't matter because we always scan like our emails, and then sometimes your picture pops up, and then I think, well, this could be somebody for a role like that. So writing and not expecting an answer, but we are constantly looking for actors. So.
Which platforms do you mainly work with? Because you work in Germany. There's filmmakers, there's Idalenta and all that stuff. UK works more with Spotlight, I guess. Is that right? Which one do you work with?
Mostly filmmakers and sometimes Spotlight.
You do?
Yes.
Okay.
Meanwhile,
Since
yes.
when?
Since half a year.
You like it?
They're all the same now.
No, they're not. No. Not
really. I have Spotlight because I was looking specifically for Hebrew speaking actors, and so I thought this might be a way.
And it worked?
No, not that much. Not better than filmmakers actually.
Yeah, but it depends what agency then is working with the spotlights. You know, that depends. If Hebrew actors, if their agents are working with the spotlight, isn't that right? No, I mean filmmakers and spotlight they kind of merge, but still a lot of German agents still work with them.
No, but I could be wrong. I thought that once you had a profile on one of those, it goes across to both.
Yeah, it does, but it doesn't mean that particularly the agent will work with that. You like suggest you and all that stuff. It's a little. Still a glitch in there. It's still not working 100%. Okay. And how about who you work with?
About the platform? Yeah. About the emails. It's a matter of virtue and fortuna. Sometimes it's the right timing, and you're very happy. And sometimes you feel overwhelmed because you had 100 emails from actors, and you're doing 3 castings at the same time. And you're like, oh, another one, and I'll never be able to answer. And sometimes you get a message and say, oh, it's exactly the person I was looking for. So there is not a rule. It's just being lucky enough to get the attention of the casting director when he can.
Should we ask another?
We have a question here. I have a question here. This young man has a question.
Sir.
I keep the microphone.
Oh, you keep the microphone. I forgot the rules. I forgot the rules. Well, thank you very much for being here today and taking the time to answer questions. I'm an actor. My name is Max. I'm with Caprice, and I was wondering how important is it for you guys, or is it possible even with the industry the way it is today with the self-tapes? You've already talked about it. How important is it for you guys to also get like the essence of a person, like the vibe, the energy, what they're about? Because obviously with the tapes, mostly, we do the tape, we do the scene, and then I feel like the slate is the only chance where we sort of get to show you who we are as a person. And I was just wondering, how much of an impact does it have to you guys, and how do you go about it? Is it possible for you guys to see it in those tapes?
I think you're always bringing yourself to the role anyway, so that's what we're looking. That's what interests me, is how the chemistry of you merges with the chemistry of the role, and that creates the character in film, I think. I mean, the thing about the introduction is I always say make it short, because we have a lot of tapes to get through, and so keep it short.
Keep it short and simple. This is the message. But I have a question. I think it's difficult for introverted person to keep going and constantly to present themselves. What is your advice to those people? I think you have to have a kind of extroversion to present yourself permanently, or don't you need that?
That's a hard question.
I don't need.
Huh?
I don't need. You don't ask a football player to introduce himself. He has to play football. You don't ask a swimmer, a ballet dancer. Why does an actor have to introduce? He has to play. He has to play, and then you get a CV and you IMDb. I don't need to know the life of actor.
I do. I don't need to know their life, their personal details, but I do need to know their essence. And it's a part of it. And I spend a lot of time researching it for me. And in answer to the question, it depends on, maybe what you see in their headshot, what you see in how they present themselves in the world, what you see in their show reel. And then in the answer to the introvert, so many actors are introverts.
That's why I'm asking.
And it's so important for you to analyze what it means. There's a very good book called How to Network for people who hate networking, or a guide for, by a very good communication expert. And I work on this a lot because it's one of the things that's really important to know is that actors always think that they have to be good at casting. They don't. They have to be good at, like Joe says, acting. We have to be good at casting. Directors have to be good at casting. So we have to be able to see if somebody is an introvert, but they're going to be amazing on the thing, and we support them through that. but knowing about what their essence is like for me is part of creating the jigsaw puzzle of my casting world. And it's just a different way of doing things. And there's so many different ways and we're all different and we all do different things. But introverts have to know how to deal with the industry. And that is about self-management. In the same way as I'm an extrovert, and my problem is I'll go to a festival like this and I'll talk to 5,000 people and I'll do 100 deals. And then I forget to follow up because I've moved on to the next person. And I was married to an introvert. So I drove him nuts. But he would be exhausted. So if you're an introvert, you have to, if you come to a festival, take more time to be on your own, more time to sleep, because going to an event like this energizes somebody like me and it will exhaust an introvert. So you work out what you are. Nobody's the same. You do what works for you. And in terms of networking, you do more of the online networking and less of the in-person because it's exhausting. Or you have your agent work more with you. But it's just about finding your own way in this industry.
So would you all agree on being consistent?
Why?
Consistent?
Consistent.
Why?
Working on it, because you don't have to be extroverted, you can be introverted, but there's something kind of discipline, being consistent on what you do.
I think this world is so inconsistent already. Like, I think you should work out what works well for you. I'm a very inconsistent person. I work very, very hard, and I sleep very hard, and I do nothing very hard. I get what you're saying, but I also think actors are too hard. I mean, our world, the people who make the best work in our world are perfectionists, but they're also crazy. They're mavericks. You know, it's like finding out what works for you. Like for some people, consistent hard work is very important, and for other people, it's moments of brilliance and madness, and it's just finding out your thing.
I like that.
I like that as well. We have a question here. Introduce yourself and ask your question, please.
I'm Daniela. I'd like to know if you have a secret network between you colleagues where you also share on people's attitude, because one can be a great actor, a great actress, but not a good teammate on set.
I can say that, yes.
It's not secret. Yeah, I mean, we have casting associations that with names and initials and, you know, all kinds of things. Yeah. They don't meet underground, you know, like but yeah, I mean, the point is, yeah, if you're not a good team player, that will get around. We know who's difficult to work with and who's nicer to work with. If that was the point. Yeah. Yeah.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, sure.
Decisions sometimes, like there's a moment director says, well, Joe, which one is your favorite? And I always say, well, they will deliver a great part, each one of them. But it's a journey, and this one will be a partner, a friend, a person you'll keep connections with after the shooting. So maybe it's the best one for you.
I do a TV series that is sport crime, is investigation in sport, and we cast also real sports people, and the mix between actors and athletes can be really inspiring sometimes. They are sharing and stories, and that's really amazing. And human-wise, is very enriching. But if you don't have someone that makes the other feels well on set, when you have athletes that are not professional actors, it will freeze everything. So in sport, we say that a big player is one that can make the other shine.
Same with acting.
Same with acting.
Okay, thank you.
But Nadine Labaki, when talking about non-actors, she said they don't act, they react. So it's my job to create situations when they will have to react instead of acting. That's a method. That's her method. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, I think, oh my gosh, do we have any more? One more question, and then we have to unfortunately leave. It's Cannes.
I come to that place here. All right, your question, and introduce yourself, please.
Hi, I'm Shivani and actually from Kenya, but now living in Barcelona. So it's very nice to connect with Lucy. Thank you for the powerful panel. I think mine is more of a technical question, and obviously IP and rights are a big discussion. So from your end of the industry as an actor and actress, what would be some elements from your agent to a contract that you should look out for, or you would hope that people would look out for?
Caprice, question me that again?
I guess from contracts to obviously IPs and rights, or I guess the correct representation in terms of financials.
Oh yeah, that's a big question. Let's talk about that later. We'll talk about this later because that's a different question.
With a drink.
Yeah, no, I'll answer that in a minute because it's so depending on the projects, you go. I mean, I usually go with my talents through the contracts. I mean, some people have lawyers, some people don't have lawyers. We go through it together, and when we both say, yeah, that's great, then we sign a contract. But it's big questions.
Yeah, but I guess also that's a good reference point that you're also there to help guide individuals.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you have an agent, definitely have your agent look over. I mean, 4 eyes look better than just 2. Isn't that right?
Yeah, and have an agent who reads contracts. I have had. I mean,
so that's important.
Casting directors have agents too. I have had an agent who doesn't read contracts.
Oh yeah, that's that.
So I mean, that is really important. Read the contract and if you're allergic to it, then make sure you have an agent who does.
Yeah, and if you don't like something, you call the production and say, hey, I don't like this.
And if you do not have an agent, or if you have an agent who does not read contracts, put your contract through ChatGPT and ask it to flag any of the things that you should address. It's one of the really good things that AI is useful for. We could discuss a whole other panel on why generative AI is not so good for our industry, but AI, when it's non-generative, is extremely good lawyer. It's a better lawyer than any lawyer I've paid.
I hope there's no lawyer here.
I don't care if there are. Because it only costs me 25 euros a month.
Not the translator, but
Right on.
That's good. I mean, that's good to know, but I would have to recheck that again with another lawyer.
You should always treat ChatGPT like a very over enthusiastic intern. You check what they do. I would never not go it. But when you have a contract, you just put it through and say, are there any potential red flags? What are the points? What do I need to look for? But it's not, it makes a lot of mistakes. It's an intern. It's not fully.
It is still learning. I mean, it's AI. It's learning. It's been progressing. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I like
You have to double check.
Yeah, you double check.
For sure.
But it will tell you what to look for, and it will tell you the questions to ask.
Yeah, and the AI question. Oh my gosh, we talked about that, but it's 5:00 and we gotta go.
Goodbye.
We'll talk about it next time.
Next year we'll be here.
Yes, we'll be here next time. Thank you everybody for showing up. Thank you all the panelists for being here. Yeah.